Today, I would like to briefly explain the very important issues affect all of us. And the depreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee against the US dollar. It's mean to our economy and the society. Now, if we assume that the uh, dollar increase from 300 to 350 rupees, that will be depreciation by 17%. It's hugely affect to the economic growth. So economic growth slow down around 1 to 2%. And the inflation may increase their estimation about 5 to 8%. And also it's negatively affect to the debt burden and debt repayments and the SMEs also. The main reason is rather theoretical, is practical, because Sri Lankan economy is heavily depends on import. Because of that, this why this dollar and rupee, the balance or depreciations happen. The mainly due to demand and supply. We demand more dollars, but we get through our export very less. This really issues since right now we get the IMF support also. So practically when they get the IMF support, the dollar appreciate, but depreciation happen. One of the main reason is the now Middle East conflict situation, but still the local domestic management, the production, not the export-oriented economy is the main reasons behind that. If you look at in terms of inflations, like I mentioned, this rupee appreciation about 17%, inflation may increase by 5 to 8%. That is our prediction. The economic growth due to high production costs, high dependency on import items, and reduced consumption and low investment, the economic growth slow down by 1 to 2% simply. And the debt impact also, that is very important, everybody talk about. Though some say this depreciation does not affect the repayment debt burden, but it's not true because when the depreciate in terms of Sri Lankan rupees, we have to spend more. The government has to spend more. That create the inflation, that create the cost of living increase. And though dollars term same, what happened now, because of depreciation, we have to get more loan and foreign support, and that we can't use for the productivity and production purpose. Only debt repayment we have to do. That is the issue. The SME sector and the businesses, and we have to look at the tourism also. For tourism is the positively impact, because the tourists may come more because they can get the more rupees and they spend more in Sri Lanka. But when the inflation increases, that may also not true. The SME sector in Sri Lanka heavily depend on, if you remove the labor part, about over 80% imported items. So that negatively affect their profitability and their revenue and their export capacity also. And another most important thing is the poverty and the welfare. When the depreciations happen, is negatively affect to the poverty. Government very difficult to support the poor people, and also all the welfare, education, and health also the affect negatively. Now, with this impact on look at the government debt repayment, is really the cost to the economy, cost to the government when depreciation happen. Heavily, again, government has to borrow, foreign borrowing, and this vicious circle will continue. May the economic crisis will come. The like inflation also, like I explained, the not only the poor, especially constant, regular earning people is a very badly affected rather than the formal sector and those kind of uh, informal economic activities, regular earners. So these are the things what we have to look at uh, closely with this the heavy depreciation rupee against the dollar. Though some try to argue that it's not affect to the economic growth, it's not affect to the inflation, not affect to the economic stability. That's not true. Theoretically made true is not affect to the debt repayment, but practically the indirect effect and the medium terms is a negatively effect, and result we have to borrow more just for repayment, and the again we can't use those borrowing productivity purpose and the economic development purpose. So that is the danger here, because Sri Lanka is now in the crisis, still the crisis situation. This may badly impact the economy again, may come new waves, the crisis due to this region. So what the government or what the country has to do, that's a very important. Uh, if possible, long term and the medium term, the government has to focus on local production and less dependency on imported, especially the main input. But that is not very easy, and we need a plan for that. And also improve the export, also very important, not rely on mainly tourism and sector. But that kind of plan only work, this continued depreciation. Otherwise, again, the donation or foreign borrowing is me. But that again invite prices again and again. Local economy strong is the one of the key, the policies, key areas as a policy makers has to think of. Thank you very much.